Welcome back to Shift Talks Students on Students. I'm joined here with Kiva Ellis, and we're talking about what it's really like studying fashion design. So, please could you tell me a little bit about yourself and your journey into studying fashion design?
Yeah, I'm from Leeds, and I know everybody says it, but from being young I've always been really creative. I studied at Leeds Arts University and I did like a extended diploma, which is a A-level equivalent. When I was in high school I kind of knew that I wanted to end up at London College of Fashion, so I worked backwards of kind of how was the best way to get there, and then here I am. Yeah.
And how do you find it now that you're here?
I do struggle with it quite a lot. Like, I think it's hard living in London and being a student and having a job and having a social life and trying to balance everything. It is very overwhelming sometimes. I think being at London College of Fashion, like, maybe it's like I've kind of fallen out of love with like the fashion design. It kind of feels more of a chore now, and I think it's just such a high pressure environment that it kind of like drains my creativity out of it.
What is your timetable like at uni? Are you in often?
That's another thing that I struggle with. It's really random, like different days every week. So when I'm trying to like coincide work with it as well, it's all different every week, so my weeks never look the same, and I'm kind of somebody that strives off of routine, and not being able to be in that for like 3 years now has like I've really struggled with it.
Now that you're in third year, what are your final projects looking like?
So I've just handed in 40 credits, which was like a brand report and a development file, which is like research and everything. And then I've got my dissertation due in January, which is 20 credits, and then final collection, like final project kind of thing, is following off of the 40 credit one, and that's due in June.
Right, because I didn't realise that you also had to do a dissertation on top of your final collection, which I think is a lot.
It is a lot. It's hard to balance all of them because they're such different things, and obviously you don't want too much crossover between the different projects.
Yeah.
Like, obviously you're not allowed to do that. It is hard to balance them and like find the time like to slot each thing in and prioritize, because obviously like the dissertation's important, but it's only 20 credits, so like in the weight of it, like it's not my most important thing right now compared to the other things. So
yeah, definitely. In my course as well, in fashion journalism, we sort of have to like set ourselves up for our future career within our projects. So you also have to like sort of think about that as
definitely.
well.
Yeah.
Do you think it is something you want to study in the future? Go into in the future?
No, I wouldn't say so. Like, I think being here, like, it has just, I've fallen out of love with it, unfortunately, and like my parents were always people that told me to do what I loved, and then like they always say you never work a day in your life. So I feel like I don't want to go into something that I'm not enjoying it. Like, I have to force myself to do it, and I want to enjoy what I do.
100%. What did you believe about studying fashion design, and how was it proven wrong?
I think there's a few things. Like, I don't think it's anywhere near as nasty as people say. Like, when I was in college, it was like I got told that like work gets torn up or like gets put in the bin, and I haven't found that here. Like, I feel like people are pretty supportive. Like, there is obviously the cliques, and like it's competitive in some senses, but like not the nastiness that you hear before coming up, I heard anyways.
And what about the tutors?
I think that the tutors get like a bad name of rep.
Bad rep.
Bad rep. I got told like they're really mean and like don't encourage you or anything. Like, I haven't found that. In first year I had a tutor who was he didn't really understand my work, and like everything I said to him he kind of like wanted to push in a certain direction, which wasn't me, and it was hard coming here in first year from a course where it was like everybody's work was so different, and you could kind of use your own creative direction, and then that was a struggle. But
and obviously you want your work to be like something that you enjoy and about
exactly.
yourself, your own like creative direction.
Yes, yeah, I think it's hard when you're getting told to go in a different way that you don't necessarily want to, but like it feels like you have to do that to get the marks.
Yeah.
But in second and third year, I've had like the most amazing tutor, and I feel like he really wants the best for me and like understands me and listens to me, and it really does affect like your uni experience who your tutor is. I feel like especially in a creative field, like it's so subjective and not everybody's going to understand it. But yeah, I feel like the tutors and technicians like are really supportive and want the best for you.
Yeah. And is there something that you spent money on that first years wouldn't expect to spend money on?
Everything. Like, you have to buy everything. We got a list after we'd like enrolled and everything in first year, and yeah, literally massive list, and I was like, oh my god, before I even came here I was like, yeah literally everything.
And what was on the list?
A sewing machine, thread, fabric scissors, like all of your pattern cutting equipment, laptop, sketchbooks, like everything.
And what about like buying fabrics? What is that like?
I think it's really difficult when you have to buy your own fabrics, or majority of your own fabrics. Like, you get an allowance from the fabric store kind of each project, or each year, it depends. Like this year it's just for the year because we've only got one making project.
Okay. How much is the allowance, or what do you get?
You get calico, and then there's also a few fabrics that you can kind of choose from, but it wouldn't be enough to kind of cover the whole collection at all.
And calico is just like a plain
yes.
For those who don't know.
Oh yeah, like plain, just like boring fabric that you do your toile in, which is kind of like your test run. So you make it in a cheap fabric first to make sure.
A prototype.
Yes, yeah, essentially to like iron out any things that you need to change. I think fabric is really hard one to navigate because the price of the fabric is kind of the quality of it. So like if you don't spend the money on it, then your end piece isn't going to look as good as maybe somebody who has spent like a lot more money, and financially it's hard to kind of navigate how you're going to do that because living in London's expensive on its own, and then you have to like spend loads of money on your fabric.
Yeah, I mean, when you first told me that you have to buy your own stuff on top of paying £9,000, I thought it would be included, so that will have to come out of your maintenance loan, which you can get a higher amount for London, but it's not much higher, and they don't take your course into consideration.
Yes, yeah.
So I know people who spend thousands on their final collection, and if you're not from like a privileged background, where do you get that money from? So I guess you have to work, but then you have no time for your final collection.
It's so hard, and like in the final collection you can get like somebody else to make 30% of it, which obviously if you want to get it made well, then that's going to be expensive, but then like I'm not going to be able to get somebody else to make 30%.
You could get like a second year intern.
Yes, yeah. That's going to have to be it.
Have you had a fabric nightmare or a moment where something went wrong and you've learnt from it?
Yeah, so many times. I think the worst thing was like year 1 and 2, your thread had run out on an evening. Like there's been no store for you to buy new things in uni until this year, so it'd be like a trip to John Lewis and like buying the thread from there, which in the dark when you've been in uni all day sewing is not what you want to do. Fabric, like there's been times where I've bought the cheaper alternative and then I'm trying to sew with it, and then it's like I look at the thing, I'm like, this does not look anything like how I imagined or how it was meant to turn out because I've bought the cheap fabric. I think if you buy cheap then you buy twice. Like it's so important to just kind of figure out where you're going to save the money and where you're going to spend the money. And I think in the fabric, like, you can just tell straight away.
You can't save on the fabric.
No, unfortunately not.
With the uni store, why did they only bring it in this year? Is it because obviously the building opened only a couple of years ago?
Yeah, I think it just wasn't ready, is what we got told. Like, we had to go to CSM store if we needed specific things, or
I guess
John Lewis.
Yeah, I guess that's not really fair, because like obviously you're paying a lot of money. It's what, $9,500 now from this year. And you don't even have all the facilities that you need.
Yeah, no, it's really frustrating, because obviously like the art store is cheaper than John Lewis, or like the other shops in Westfield. There isn't many. John Lewis is the only one that has like a haberdashery bit. So yeah. So
would you say the uni store is significantly cheaper than going to like a sewing shop?
Yeah, I think so. It has like every specific thing that you need as well, like for the specific machines, so that's helpful.
Okay. And how does your course connect you to the industry or help you with like future job prospects?
I think that they really push dips, which is a great opportunity for like connecting with the industry and making them connections yourself.
And dips is a year out?
Yes, yeah, like a placement year. I think that's really supported and like pushed for you to do it. I haven't done it because like most of the internships aren't paid, and also for the student loan that you get, it's like half of what you would usually get or less.
Oh wow.
Like, yeah, I think the maximum's like £4,000 or something. Like, it's, I can't remember specifically, but it's like significantly less than what you get when you're studying.
So not only are you not being paid, you don't even have enough to pay your rent.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Unless obviously you're in a privileged position where like you can get help from family.
Yes, yeah, and most of them are like 5 days a week. Like, they expect you to work really late hours, and then you working on a weekend, which even if you work 2 days a week, like, it's still not going to cover your rent.
Yeah. Especially in London.
Yeah,
it's so expensive.
It's crazy.
Do you feel like dips is sort of catered to people who are in a luckier position?
Yeah, definitely. Like, the deadline to have your like placement secured was over summer, and then you had to start in September through to, like, you can do a year or like 9 months, however long is going to cover the amount of hours that you have to do. But I know other unis do it in a different way, so like some of my friends that go to different unis are able to work alongside it, which I think makes it a lot more accessible for the people. Yeah. Like, I think if I could have done that, then, like, if it was set up differently, maybe. Yeah.
So there's no sort of setup to help people who might not be in a position to afford it?
No, I didn't really feel like there was when I was like looking into it and had meetings about it. Like, I think they're really supportive in trying to help you find something, but the amount of things that are paid is like minuscule. Like,
it must be really hard then when someone is pushing that onto you in a positive way, but you can't do it because there's not really any further help that's been established into it. So you feel like it's kind of like a lose-lose situation.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I remember being in a lecture and it was, they said, like the final grades, and it was people who've done dips and people who haven't done dips, and people who had done dips got like significantly higher final grades. So then, like, that's always stuck in my head, because I'm like, like, because I haven't been able to do it, like, I'm not going to be able to get that. Obviously it gives you the experience and stuff, but it is just like instilling that. It's encouraging, like, it is encouraging, but like, if you just can't do it, then it's like,
that's really hard, I think, to sort of put that statistic on a board, because I mean, that would stick with me. When I've spoken to tutors, they say like attendance is what makes a considerable difference within grades, but like something like dips, which not everyone has the opportunity to do, is quite difficult. If that's like the case, there should be more things set in place to help you do a year out if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, definitely.
But other than that, does anybody come in, any speakers to speak with you? Like, do you feel connected to the industry in any other way?
I think within like the fashion industry, we do have like guest speakers occasionally. I wouldn't say that they're very like frequent. Mainly it's more like fabric places coming in, do you want to talk about like the leather or like the kind of fabrics and stuff? I think you do, to make the connections, you have to put yourself in the room and you have to get yourself there, like send emails and like just be relentless with it.
Yeah. And my last question is, what's one piece of advice you would give to someone thinking about studying fashion design but isn't sure whether to?
I think if you're not sure, take time, think about it, make sure it's something that you really want to do and that you're really passionate about. Like, there's no rush to get a degree. Like, I felt like if I took a year out or anything, I would be behind because all of my friends were going straight to uni.
Yeah.
And like, maybe if I'd taken a year out, then I would have thought about what I actually wanted to do instead of kind of just following everybody else. And if you're not sure about what you want to do, then it's intense, it's a lot, so you really have to have the passion for it and the drive. And I think the main thing is like loving it and make sure that you love it before you do it.
Yeah, so essentially don't necessarily follow your friends. Do what's best for you.
Yeah, exactly, definitely. And also, even like if you've got a place, like defer it. Like if you're not sure, don't feel pressured to do it. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
That's okay.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed.